We're recording. Happy Monday. Monday fun day. What's up, guys? We back on Monday. I was missing all weekend. Missing all weekend, guys, but I'm back. Did you guys miss me? Monday. I was missing. Yep, we are live. Channel still up. I shouldn't joke about that. So we got a lot of stuff to cover. We got Ben Askren. I can't remember who's on the thumbnail. I made the thumbnail a day or two ago, so I don't remember, but definitely some Ben Askren. Who else on that thumbnail? I don't remember now. Doesn't matter. We'll cover. We've got a lot of stories to cover. I don't know if we're gonna hit up YouTube. We probably should hit up YouTube. And there's just so much drama out there. Just so much news and drama out there. So it's kind of hard to hit everything, you know. All the tournaments, you had like who's number one, you had Jersey Open, you had all this other stuff, UFC. So it's hard to hit everything. I need a longer show. So maybe in the future, when the channel grows, I could do like a lot longer show or so. But for now, we stick it into about 2 hours. That's the time allotment I got for you guys. So Ben Askren, man, let's look at Ben Askren. Also, huge shout out to all the people I saw at Jersey Open. There, we're talking about the channel, the live streaming channel, not my other channel, not my baby channel that I put, my heart and soul into, but this channel. So shout out to everybody that was watching and came up to me. Danny Choppa was there. A few other people were talking to me about the channel. So it might be popping, guys. I don't know. I don't want to jinx it. Knock on wood for me. We might have something here. So unfortunately, Ben Askren, the news doesn't look to be that good. So we're gonna cover a little bit. This is Daniel Cormier's post on social media. Let me just stay in this view, and they got a little video. I guess I think at the last UFC, or maybe this one. I'm not sure which UFC. They had a little tribute to him.
Biggest battle in a Wisconsin hospital.
Yeah, I can't remember if it was the one in New Jersey or the one in Atlanta. But they had a little video of him of some of his matches. That's Damian Maia getting taken down. Why are you showing Damian Maia? Well, he only had 2 fights in UFC or something. No, he had 3 fights. He fought Masvidal, he fought Damian Maia, and he fought Robbie Lawler. And that Masvidal one, that was the last one in the UFC. DC says, "Thank you, UFC and Ben Askren. We love all of you, buddy. We all love you, buddy. Amy, we're all praying for you." Someone asked what happened to him. We're gonna jump right over to Reddit in a second, so we got a little bit more information. Severe pneumonia, has been in the hospital for a few days now. Let's see. Unresponsive last I read. Yeah, so we're gonna go to Reddit to get a little bit better information. But this was from Daniel Cormier's his social media. So we'll get some more information, but I didn't realize they had a podcast together, and I believe Ben Askren got sick after the podcast and was still doing events. So man, if you get staph or anything, don't go get that antibiotics if it's still applicable to you. Now if it's MRSA, get to the hospital as soon as you can. So we're gonna move on to Reddit. Let's see what they have to say over there. Man, there's no shortage of stuff happening in jiu-jitsu and judo and wrestling. Bro, you can this could be your whole, this is basically my whole channel now. Just going over the news, who messed up over here, who did what over there. It says update on Ben Askren. My son is an Askren Academy wrestler, and they were told that Ben is in a bad situation. This is 4 days ago. His infection has been unresponsive to antibiotics and has attacked his lungs. He will need a lung transplant, and for that to happen, a lot of things need to line up, and they may not. The situation is grim. This is what the team was told. So I don't even know any. I've never even heard of a lung transplant, so I'm not sure what all that entails. Maybe we can look that up real fast because I don't really. I'm not a medical expert, guys. I should have gone to medical school, but I didn't. Lung. Type in one hand. So yeah, I'm not sure what that entails. We're gonna use the AI to help us. Says a lung transplant is a surgical procedure where diseased or damaged lungs are replaced with healthy lungs from a deceased or, in some cases, a living donor. It's a treatment option for individuals with severe lung conditions that haven't responded to other treatments, aiming to improve quality of life and potentially extending life expectancy. It's considered when a person's lung disease is advanced. So he doesn't have these, I don't think. He's got other lung conditions, but says chronic COPD, cystic fibrosis, pulmonary hypertension. I don't think he has those, but staph, guys, this stuff is serious. I know a lot of people that take staph lightly. They make a joke about it. They keep training with it. This will take you out, bro, and it won't be it's not a joke at that point. Says the transplant surgery involves removing the diseased lungs and replacing them with healthy donor lungs. This can be a single lung transplant or a double lung transplant bilateral. I'm not sure what that means. You got to be eligible and you got to be placed on a waiting list. So even if you do need that transplant, there's no, I don't know how fast it would be. You might need Daddy Dana's his contacts to get that lung. It says potential recipients undergo a thorough evaluation at a transplant center to assess their suitability for transplant. So, if Ben isn't responsive, is he gonna pass the evaluation? I don't think so. And then even if he does pass the evaluation, he's gonna be put on a waiting list. There's no telling when he'll get that lung. It says life after transplant requires ongoing management, including taking immunosuppressant medication to prevent rejection, attending regular checkups, and participating in rehabilitation programs. So, and there's a lot of risk too. Look, lung transplantation is a major surgery with inherent risk, including infection. He already has an infection, so now there's more infection, bleeding, possibility of the body rejecting the new lungs. Yeah, things don't look good for Ben Askren. I'm sorry to say that. I'm not the biggest Ben Askren fan. I don't know the man. Not like I hate him, but this doesn't look good. That's what I'm trying to tell you guys, to take this stuff seriously in your schools. If you got staph, try to get it checked out. Don't spread it. Don't make a joke of it. If you guys can do that would be helpful. It says, as someone close to the family, I can confirm he has necrosis in his lungs now. That's not good, guys. That is not good. Please ignore the one idiot on Twitter saying he's passed away. Had a really close friend recently go through the same exact thing. His transplant went really well, and he's on the road to recovery now. Hope you guys have the same outcome and things go well for him. Definitely understand how scary it is right now. I'm sure you guys have a great medical team, so wishing them and you all strength. Looking like he needs a lung transplant. Lung resection is also an option unless both are infected. Well, they said it's necrosis, so I think you got to remove that. Awful thing to happen to such a legendary athlete. Prayers, bro. This is terrible, and the one thing I feared since it stemmed from a staph infection. My 4-year-old daughter went through necrotizing pneumonia 8 months ago. Wow. 4 years old daughter went through this. Scariest time of our life. Double pneumonia, pleural effusion, you name it. It was staph pneumonia. They put her on a vancomycin, and she did not respond, but Resofin antibiotic did the trick, and after 17 days she survived. I'm sending my prayers. Well, the thing is, he's resistant to all this. You know, he's been wrestling his whole life, so he's probably resistant to every form of staph out there. Thankfully, she made a full recovery. She probably has some scar tissue, but her oxygen saturation is 97, 99. Did you learn anything from it regarding how she caught it? Terrible bad luck in general, or somewhat more likely odds because little kids are messy and suck at understanding hygiene? No idea, really. We didn't even learn what it was until after we got out of the hospital. She had been home all her life and went to preschool for the first time. Within the first 2 weeks, the nightmare started. She got sick twice. It seemed like the thing was necrotizing pneumonia, as the fever can persist for several weeks. It was scary. I wish I could offer some guidance, but now we're super careful about sanitizing, monitoring her saturation when she's sick, and respiratory rate is really important. How often they breathe in 60 seconds. Kids are resilient until they're not, but thankfully they bounce back just as quick too. Going off on a little tangent. That's terrible. Insane how he could go from perfectly healthy a few weeks ago to this. So I mean, I think there were signs that he was getting sick, but you know, people, especially wrestlers, they're so tough. They push through everything, even when they're not supposed to. Says pneumonia can use up the nutrients meant for cells and releasing toxin staph variant that lead to death and necrosis of the tissue. So it says, how can staph spread to your lungs? Well, staph can spread anywhere. Pneumonia weakens the lungs, and the staph that lives in most people's nose and throat take advantage of the weak lungs. So you guys are saying he had pneumonia first and then got the probably from overtraining, sick kids, you know. Who knows how he got the pneumonia? If he had viral pneumonia first, yes, that would be the case. If he already had a staph infection elsewhere, which I believe is the case, the staph has simply spread to his lungs via blood. So, guys, you gotta stay on top of the staph, you know. Says yes, if he already had staph, obviously it can spread. Do you have a source for him already having staph infection? I've been reading all the sources I can find about this so far, and you'd be the first person I heard say he had staph infection and then got pneumonia. There's been a lot of reports or, you know, kind of messages saying that he has staph. Says once it gets in the bloodstream, it's able to travel and seed into different organs, his lungs, brain, etc. Primary infection of the lungs with staph is also possible. So yeah, I mean, man, this is crazy. It says with lung replacement in the pipeline, I think he's on a ventilator and hemodynamic agent sepsis. At least ECLS could be possible too. Unfortunately, I don't know what that means. I'm not a doctor, guys. So if you're just joining us, we've been talking about Ben Askren. He's not in good health at all. Shout out to Mike. He said I can put his video on here. We might look at that, Mike. Says, yeah, if things are this bad, hard to imagine that he would be conscious. People were speculating that his wife may have meant that he was too sick to respond to people reaching out, instead of meaning that he was literally unconscious. But after this, it'll It's looking like the initial interpretation was probably correct. I really hope he is, but with the replacement in discussion, it's hard to believe regarding the rapid onset. Let's just hope it's not that bad. Um, so both lungs are heavily damaged, not just one. I'm pretty sure the guy who said he passed away didn't mean to say that because he didn't know English. I don't know what that means. Why would you post that? This is truly a tragedy. Ben was as good an ambassador for the sport as anyone ever. And AWA, um, is that Askren Wrestling Academy, has produced so many world beaters in the last 5 to 7 years. Danny Chopper, what's up, bro? Yeah, I'm hoping he turns around too, man. Shout out to Danny Chopper spending all his money on the acai, bro. I'm an MMA guy. Listening to Ben and DC on their podcast is how I even thought to check out wrestling. Ended up going to the finals in KC last year and then again in Philly this year. I remember seeing him hug Messing Brick after he beat Kalindo. I was just listening to him and DC on their last pod and then all this. Devastating for his family, friends, and wrestling community. He's one of the best spokesperson for wrestling. Let's see. This type of situation really makes you think and reflect on all the good and bad that comes with life. Yeah, it's true. Maybe he hasn't been the most likable person and caught a lot of he's caught a lot of I don't know what a good term is for this. A lot of slack for his MMA career, but Ben spearheaded this current generation with his out of the box thinking. He, in many ways, is a genius that this sport has been blessed to learn from. Guys like Mirasolas, Sinclair, Messenbrick, and Keegan O'Toole were all products of his system, along with the Real Butos. I don't know what that means. Is that a wrestling team? During his short stint in NYC. I cannot stress enough the importance of giving people their flowers while they're here. You might not agree with everything they say or do, but some things are more important than opinions-based conversations. Really hope he pulls through. I appreciate the update. I'm very disappointed to hear that. Out of curiosity, does that mean he is in a coma / unresponsive? I know. Well, it sounds like he's on a breathing machine or something, right? I know his family wants privacy, but there are some ambiguity as to whether he's unresponsive or unable to respond to anything. If the pneumonia is severe enough to warrant a lung transplant, he'd be on a ventilator and sedated. Being on a ventilator is not pleasant. Oof, yeah. So if you're just joining us, Danny, it looks like Ben might need a lung transplant, but there's a lot of issues. You know, he's got to pass like he's got to be eligible. You know, he's got to pass whatever what's that called, evaluation. Then he's got to be on the wait list, and then the transplant. You know, it's pretty not the easiest surgery. There's risk of more infection, bleeding, body rejecting the new transplant, the new lung. So, I mean, it's possible he gets through, but you know he's gonna need a lot of prayers, man. So say some prayers for Ben, guys. This is scary and sad. The prognosis is not great. It sounds like he's going through sepsis, and currently the lungs are not functioning properly. But if he cannot get the body to react to any kind of infection response, other organs will start failing, and he won't be able to survive. He has to somehow get the infection under control, and that hasn't happened yet. And that's when they would be able to see the recovery process. I don't want to read that part. They're talking about COVID a little bit. I guess Ben Askren wasn't a big fan of the COVID shot. You know, who knows what's going on now. Another person says, my mother needed a lung transplant and that never came. Not that she would have survived the ordeal of what that is. I'm not doubting what you were told is needed, but a lung transplant is needed when the lungs are entirely destroyed. It seems extremely rare that an infection could so rapidly destroy them. Well, say Ben had the infection, didn't get it treated. That thing starts to spread to the lungs. I mean, infections used to kill people back in the day. Back in those caveman days, you got a little scratch, little boo boo. That was it. I'm done. You ever play Oregon Trail? Bro, sepsis, anything. Not sepsis. What was that? What's the one where you drank the water, the bad water? It's not sepsis. It's something else. Anyway, you would just die back in the day, bro. Before the antibiotics, that was it. Little scratch, little boo boo. That was it. It says all the best to Ben. Then he says, really hope a miracle comes through. This is pretty terrible. It makes me appreciate that $20 bowl of acai. Yeah, enjoy those $20 bowls of acai, man. I couldn't get myself to buy that. They had other bowls lower price. I just had to get that extra protein. Oh. What was it, about $14, $15 for the lowest price one? Yeah, that's lower price, Danny. $14. Not $20, but $14. I mean, bro, I think I could get a meal for that. I mean, technically the acai, calorie-wise, that's a meal. You put the granola on there, banana, some peanut butter. You hitting about 500, 600, 700 calories. Dysentery, yeah. Jason Whitfield coming through. That dysentery would have taken you out. Bro, you couldn't drink the water back in the day. We lucky to be able to survive. You don't even need functioning lungs. They can plug you up to the ventilator. Get you a lung transplant. Hope, and then there's a chance you come back. So the guy says, all the best to Ben in your community. It's a brutal situation. Although much of this can be Googled nowadays, from what I remember regarding lung transplants, first you got to go on the transplant list. Well, first you got to pass the eligibility. You got to be eligible. You got to pass the evaluation. And then you go on the transplant list. Order is sometimes determined by absolute need. Other times it's first in need. Ideal outcomes occur when transplant hospital and medication center is world renowned. Thank you, UCLA. I believe he's in Wisconsin. I don't know how good the hospitals are in Wisconsin, but it ain't no UCLA. Most lung transplant recipients do not live longer than 5 years. Oh man. Bro, things ain't looking good for Ben, bro. And even if he does have the transplant, he probably won't be able to wrestle anymore, I'm assuming he won't be able to wrestle like he used to. Sometimes this is from rejection of the organ or rejection of immunosuppressants to survive it. Constant medication and monitoring is needed. I personally have met a 20-year survivor of lung transplant. All right, so it's not unheard of. And known a 10-year survivor. He sadly passed away years ago. This is a brutal situation, but I hope the ideal lungs become available to him and that he's under superior care. So we need a miracle, man. So the thing is that he's got necrotizing vasculitis, so I believe the lungs are, falling apart. I'm definitely not gonna look that up, guys. I ain't looking up anything that says necrotizing vasculitis. I don't want to see the pictures. You guys Google that on your own. You can Google that yourself. God bless Ben in his time of need. He's a great man, and his family needs him. Praying for a positive outcome. I need you guys to take this Staph stuff serious, man. Take this Staph stuff serious, man. Clean the mats. Take care of the mats. Make sure nobody's spreading this stuff, Back home, we got a lot of gyms. They laugh at Staph and ringworm and all this other stuff. But, man, when you start to become resistant to the Staph and whatever else is out there, man, stuff does not look good for you. I believe somebody had it in their lungs back in Atlanta. I need somebody to check for me. And they're just laughing like, I'll be back. You think you'll be back, bro? I can't believe such effective medical technology like antibiotics still sometimes fail. I mean, it's Antibiotics do their job. It's when this stuff evolves. The bacteria is evolving. The viruses evolve. They become resistant. They trying to survive too. They don't want to die. Some infections are, and they can switch course of antibiotics. My daughter went through necrotizing pneumonia, and the initial. Well, I read this earlier. The initial vancomycin, I think that's what he said, did not work. They gave her Rosifin, day 6, and that did the trick, and she has fully recovered. Well, your daughter was young. She young. The body gonna bounce back. You guys probably caught it earlier than what Ben caught it. And her body could heal. The lungs can heal if it doesn't advance to full-on tissue death, which I believe Ben has. But also, depending on how much of the lung is infiltrated, the antibiotic cannot penetrate where there is less blood flow. Truly sad, I pray. Hoping for the best situation. Says, not to mention, in an otherwise healthy grappler, I would expect staph pneumonia from a complicated skin infection versus a lung primary infection of the lungs. Yeah. It could have been a small staph infection, which you could have got treated, that he ignored until it became serious. That's what I'm thinking. Wrestlers, especially guys like Ben, man, the wrestlers got to take this stuff more seriously too, because they be wearing those wrestling shoes everywhere, in the bathroom, outside. They be stomping in the dirt and mud, and then they walk on the mats. They don't be cleaning the mats. I want somebody to go test the mats at AWA. Go do a swab over there. There might be some staph on the mat still. So I believe staph led to the pneumonia. It says, latest news I heard was 5 hours ago. Chael Sonnen said he has been moved to Wisconsin and still needs a lung. Send prayers and good thoughts. Let's see. I hope you're not eating breakfast or lunch right now. You know what, guys? I don't think the staph killed Kevin Randleman. It didn't help though. I mean, the staph going through your lungs and your bones and your muscle definitely did not help. So we're on Reddit again. We're gonna read through Reddit. I got a love-hate relationship with Reddit, guys. I love to hate on them. This says, can I move this over? Now I can move it over, bro. I've been trying to move this thing over this whole time. Did Kevin Randleman's heart attack have anything to do with PEDs? Possibly. You got the photo? Let me show the photo first, though. Pull that photo up. Sorry, guys. Though. I hope you weren't eating, guys. Yeah, that can't be good. That's how did it get that bad? He died of heart failure due to complications from pneumonia. I mean, how did he get the pneumonia? Was it staphylococcal pneumonia? So yeah, I mean, that's bad. That will kill you. That for sure will kill you. What's up, bro? I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry we're gonna click that off now. Gunshot. I wish. He ain't 50 Cent, man. Nah, that's Staph. So I mean, You know, your body's it's a system. It's an organism. So it's getting. I mean that it's that was staph. The staph got in your body, tearing apart the body, gets in the lungs, gets in the blood, gets in the lungs. You cooked, bro. Mama said, Mama said Reddit is the devil. Yep. Was that from Waterboy? Also, now I got to put off my protein shake. Yeah, go take a shower. I'm gonna take a shower after this stream. That was a straight up DBZ wound in real life. So yeah, that was staph. And I'm telling you, these wrestlers. To be honest, it's the wrestlers and no gi people. The gi people. I put my gi on, guys. Listen, I got my spats on, long sleeve spats on, and rash guard on. Put my gi on. I don't want nobody sweat on me in the gi. No gi. I wish IBJF let us wear something. Why we gotta expose ourselves? Yeah, I wish we could wear spats in IBJJF. Can they change that rule already? Come on. But in Noki, you just out there exposed to whatever is out there. And then think about ADCC. They don't be wearing no shirt. Yo, it's disgusting. Jason says staph is very similar to. Oh yeah, you don't die from it. You die from complications. I don't want to say that word. What can I say? It's very similar to a very well known sexually transmitted disease that you won't die from, but you'll die from the complications. Yeah. So again, these wrestlers are too tough, and then they don't get checked out. They're gonna out train the staph. No, you ain't gonna out train the staph. The staph gonna beat you. They're overtraining. They're they ain't showering. They out there walking with their wrestling shoes outside, and then training inside. And they have a culture of not taking it too seriously. Nogi bros too. The Nogi bros just as bad. Says his body was run down already from complications he had associated with ongoing staph infections. Some of you probably remember the photos we just watched. We just looked at those. He took and put up online of that through last year and prior. This is from 9 years ago, guys. He then got pneumonia on top of the flu. I mean, shit, the pneumonia just go right in there. The lungs right here. The pneumonia just float on in. The door is open. There's no protection. He got the pneumonia on top of the flu, was hospitalized next when severely dehydrated, and then had a heart attack and passed away in the hospital. So, I mean, once you start cascading downward, that's why with Ben Askren, they're trying to get the staph infection under control before they can take the next steps. I mean, bro, there's no reason that should have progressed that fast, Those staph pictures were gruesome. I was wondering how a man 44 years of age could be so immunocompromised to fall to a pneumonia. He was probably on a plethora of antibiotics to stave off the reoccurring staph infections that were lingering in his body. Truly sad. Just yesterday, my friend asked me what the worst common injuries from MMA, and I showed him this, telling him Randleman is the most fascinating ailments I've ever seen. My friend, he's new, never heard of Randleman, so I showed him the Fedor Slam. 10 hours later, I found out Randleman died, presumably around the same time I was talking about him, thousands of miles away. So another wrestler, another MMA fighter and wrestler getting taken down. Again, some of the behaviors that are associated with MMA fighting and wrestling, overtraining, possible usage of, whatever to help them, recover. All this stuff kind of goes hand in hand. All the academies I know where they be, catching stuff, they be using stuff. Allegedly. Steroids don't kill people. They kill people like pro wrestlers who abuse them heavily. I mean, did you look at Kevin Randleman? He was a pro wrestler. he was more he was more of a bodybuilder than a pro wrestler, than an MMA fighter. They abuse them and also have heavy drug use on. The MMA fighters got heavy drug use. MMA fighters ain't no different than the pro wrestling. It's all the same, bro. Ain't no difference between a pro wrestler and an MMA fighter and a bodybuilder. What's the difference? Nothing. They wear the same stuff. They all got they all wear the same outfit. They using the same stuff. Self-medicating, drinking, living risky lifestyles, abusing their bodies. What's the difference? There ain't no difference that I can see. Says vitamins and cocaine, vitamin and powder is not a good combination. Heck, that's all these athletes out here. The gloves, bro. You can wear them in pro wrestling too. Ronda Rousey be wearing her MMA gloves. Said just got extra funk, can't wash out. Yeah. Oh yeah, them gloves too. Oof. Bro, I had to deodorize the glove, put it in the sun. Yeah, bro, spray something in there. Or you know what? Get more than one pair of gloves. I know they're expensive, but get more than one pair and cycle through them, you know? Yo, imagine you got the staph on the glove, the boxing gloves. They hitting you every time they touch you, get staph. Yeah, the MMA people need to take this more seriously. Says vitamins and powder is not a good combination. If the vitamins kill people argument was true, then how come there weren't that many dead MLB players from the golden era? Or they aren't dropping dead yet? We'll give it time. Says the stories of professional wrestlers and what they had to do just to get by night to night is sort of depressing. Same thing with MMA fighters. Just watch the Smashing Machine. These guys are so broken. They got to take all this stuff just to stay active, and then they get the staph. They're doing all this risky behavior just to stay active, and then they get staph infection. What was the point of it? What was the point of doing all that stuff? Another poster says they're essentially on the road 24/7 and have to wrestle a crazy amount of times a month, while also being expected to keep their bodies looking like bodybuilders. They abuse vitamins to keep their bodies in shape and abuse Flintstone. What's another word for vitamins? I don't know what to say for that. Painkillers. I can say that word, I guess. And abuse painkillers to put a band-aid on injuries. Pro wrestling is a messed up sport. Painkillers and alcohol abuse. I remember Lesnar talking about it on one of the big reasons he set out to try football and ultimately MMA. The life on the road was killing him. Didn't he go back? Yeah, but he isn't full-time. He isn't on the road going city to city for house shows. He flies in for his appearances, then goes home. As he put it, part-time work for full-time pay. Says, while vitamins aren't anywhere near as dangerous as people make them out to be, I think it's hard to say it wasn't a factor here. I love Kevin Randleman, but he was basically made out of vitamins for most of his adult life. I don't think it improved his health at the doses he was likely on. Says vitamins will be one part of the puzzle, but his whole lifestyle wasn't probably healthy. It definitely wasn't healthy. So you can't underline one factor. Too soon for that type of speculation. So, Let's just look up Kevin Randleman just so you can see what he looked like. I mean, this was Kevin Randleman back in the day. I mean, is that a normal amount of muscle? No. Are you supposed to have striations when you're fighting? No. I mean, Kevin Randleman, yeah, no telling. Looked like he had something right there too. Randleman, man. Yeah, look at that neck. Bodybuilder, Kevin Randleman, bodybuilder. I mean, he wasn't that big. Well, sometimes he was big. Sometimes he was big. Yeah, that's sad, man. So, I mean, he was genetically gifted, but I mean, he wasn't supposed to be that big. So we started off talking about Ben Askren, then we moved on to blah. Turn it back. Ah, no, no, turn it off again. How do I turn it off, guys? There you go. Oh my God. Sorry if you guys got to eat lunch later. Um, here we go. So it seems like this has happened to a few. We're doing some research, guys. This has happened to a couple MMA fighters. Well, let's go through this again. We're discovering something here. There's some connection here. He died of pneumonia complications in 2016. RIP to the monster. He's from the best days of the UFC and Pride FC. Says I look him up later. Just curious. I'll look him up later. But did he have a history of ignoring health? Did he have a history of ignoring health issues or something? Jason says if we're really trying to get more casual people into jiu-jitsu, this episode is not one I will recommend. Don't forget to give some love to MRSA, herpes, and ringworm. Well, I'm trying to tell you guys, okay, take this stuff seriously. Anybody watching this, take this stuff seriously, so you don't end up like these dudes. Yeah. Well, I'm preparing people. Yeah, definitely not helping people join jiu-jitsu right now or MMA or anything. But I want people to be healthy. I don't care if I scare them a little bit. I'm scared a little bit. Every time I click on the Randleman photo, I'm scared. I still got my appetite though. I gotta eat lunch in a little bit. Not sure, but a staph infection was not uncommon in any mat-related sport. Looks gross. Yeah, but that looks like he ignored it way too long. Yep, for sure. You'd be surprised by how rapidly some bacteria infections can progress. They don't progress that fast, bro. There are some strep-related forms of necrotizing fasciitis that can start at the tip of your finger at 6 a.m. and be well past your wrist by lunchtime. The fastest can eat up an inch an hour. Pause on that. Yeah, where are they getting this necrotizing fasciitis? Knock on wood. I hope I don't get that. Still isn't. Caught a similar size one at the bottom one of my foot this year. I'm sure this was a streptococcus, not staph, since it's known to damage more of the surrounding tissue than actual staph. I personally know 2 MMA fighters that died from pneumonia complications in their 30s. I have no idea what the connection is, but it seems to be a pretty consistent thing in combat sports. I think it has something to do with just being constantly thrown flat on your back and lungs. My grandpa fell off ladders 3 to 4 times when he was younger and was told that's why he had lung issues now. I don't No, that's not why. Yeah, that doesn't make sense. Welcome to America. Official call of death, certificate of death was heart failure attack. Fish poisoning is what fishermen used to call these staph infections. Guys would get it after being finned. Oh, time to worry. Time to worry when it stops hurting. Yeah, yeah. If it's not hurting, we could carry Keflex, cephalexin. I can't say that. To treat this, it's an antibiotic. If you didn't have a case of this would end a commercial trip real fast. Oh, yeah. The ocean seems to supply a steady stream of staph infections in MRSA. I had both as a teenager, both as a result of living by the beach. I got real lucky. I grew up in a fishing town on the east coast of the USA and got spined by a fish all the time. Never got one of those. I think the conditions on the deck contributed. Mix of live and dead fish. Why are we talking about this stuff? Someone says, when I was a nurse, MRSA was only resistant to methicillin, as its name implies. Methicillin-resistant Staphylococcus aureus. I'm presuming you mean something other than MRSA. It can't be MRSA. The clue's in the name. Let's see. It says, when does one decide there might be a problem? When big chunks of your body are missing, I suppose. I'm not a doctor. I should not have read that. All right, I'm tired of the staff, guys.
Right. This is what it looks like, man. This is what's underneath there. That's underneath there.
No.
Yeah.
I may have the Nokia.
So it's terrible, man.
Yeah, you would. And look at me, I'm still fucking here ready to fight. Ain't nobody as hard as me. I am seriously that guy that don't give a fuck. I'll fight anybody, any fucking where, and it doesn't matter if you're 275 or 200 pounds. I don't care. If we get into the same goddamn ring, that means you against me, and it's gotta be me. Bro.
And how did it come?
It's just an infection.
Yeah, I'm not saying using vitamins will give you staph, but I mean it ain't helping. It ain't helping apparently. And all this stuff weakens your immune system, and then other situations occur. So I'm all for you guys living healthy lives. I want you guys to be here for a long time. I want you guys on my live stream for a long time. I don't want you guys tapping out too early. So, I mean, I know some of you guys on TRT. I ain't judging you. But I will ask, do you really need it? Do you really need it? Last post, guys, and I got a dip. It says, I'm a dermatologist, and I think we can do better preventing staph infections. I want to help, but curious your thoughts. The recent Ben Askren situation is tearing me up. Staph and particularly MRSA infections are no joke. It kills me that people don't have access to timely derma care. There are things we can do using prescription creams and soaps before an infection to prevent the likelihood of getting one. Also, us derms get pretty significant discounts on the few good over-the-counter options. I don't know. Would people be interested in a virtual prescribing thing with quick access to those things? Yeah, we need more. Especially the wrestlers, they need more. There's some things that you can do. I mean, yeah, MRSA is dangerous. Wrestlers get MRSA infections more than any other athletes, up to 12 times more. Dang. One study found 50% of counselors and wrestlers at a summer camp were colonized with MRSA, meaning it was living harmlessly on their skin or in their nose, but could still cause infections or spread to others. It says you need a nasal swab to detect asymptomatic colonization. If you're colonized, there is a decolonization protocol. You need prescription ointment for the nose and over-the-counter wash. So if you're wrestling, if you're doing a lot of no-gi and your gym doesn't clean their mats, you need to get this stuff. Mupiriosin? I can't say that. It's a prescription ointment for the nose and chlorhexidine, which is a wash, over-the-counter wash. As far as prevention, shower immediately after practice. So unfortunately, some of us don't have showers at our gyms. I don't have a shower at my gym. There's nothing I can do about it. But if you guys have access to a shower, take that shower, bro. Get in that shower. Wash your what did homeboy say? What's the guy's name? Can't remember the guy's name now. We just watched his video. Homeboy said, "Wash your ass." That's what he said. Kevin Randleman said, "Wash your ass." Go wash your ass, guys. What else you gotta do? Wash your ass. If you can't shower, use wipes or use soaps that reduce staph infection. Chlorhexidine, sodium hypochlorite, tea tree oils. Get on that defense soap. Get that defense soap, guys. Get that defense soap. It says you don't need to use these every day, but definitely after practice, sweating, or skin contact. Defense soap, I need a sponsorship. So yeah, get that stuff. As far as coaches, use residual disinfectants that keep working after application. And then mop backwards with disinfectant. So I guess you mop opposite of where you sprayed. And let the mats fully dry before use. Have wrestlers use hand sanitizers before matches. If you get a skin infection, see a doctor right away. So I wish Askren had done that. If you have a fever with a skin infection, go to the ER. This could mean the infection is in your bloodstream. Yeah. Listen, guys. Ringworm reminder. Ringworm is a fungal infection, not a bacterial. Prevent it by washing weekly with dandruff shampoos. Selsun Blue or Head and Shoulders. I'd be doing that. Use antifungal creams on the rash. As of right now, as far as I know, Ben Askren, in my opinion, the greatest youth coach in the country, is in the hospital and needs a lung. If anyone needs a reminder of how important hygiene is. So, yeah, do the best you can. I know some gyms don't have showers, so try to shower as soon as you get home. If you have anything on your skin, try to take care of it. Make sure you got to educate people. Tell them to shower. Make sure they're bringing clean uniforms, clean gis, clean no-gi. Something I think would help. I haven't really seen this, but put some rules up in your gym. Put these rules up in your gym. Basic information on how to treat the staph, how to spot the staph and ringworm. Basic shower etiquette, shower 1 hour 30 right after practice or shower once you get home. Put all this stuff up in multiple places so people can, hopefully they can read. I don't know if Gen Z can read anymore or Gen Alpha, whatever. I don't know if they can read anymore, but put this stuff up in your gym. Put the pictures up. When you go different countries and they got the guy showing you how to use the bathroom. Put that up. Put a little character of the guy showering in the bathroom. Have access to soap and hand sanitizers available. Have wipes available. Get the good mat cleaner. Make sure the mop heads are clean. You know, have a culture where people can sit out if they have staph or ringworm. Have a culture where people are spotting, and we'll let you know if, hey, yo, I saw someone had a big red spot behind their neck. You have a culture of people telling, hey, listen, bro, you need to get it off the mat. And that's it, man. This stuff is serious. Some gyms take it as a joke. You know, they think it's a joke, but it's real, man. It's real out here, bro. All right, guys, that's it, man. I'm tired. I don't know if we covered a lot of stories, but yeah, almost 3 hours. I've been talking. I've been napping. But hopefully it's informative yapping. If you guys want to support the channel, Inverted Gear, they're getting some new gear in. BJ Mental Models. I'm working on the video. BJ Mental Models. Those are my 2 sponsors so far. And shout out to everybody that I saw at the tournament. That was cool. You know, people are watching this live stream, so I got to be on my best behavior. I can't mess around too much. So that's it, guys. I'm going to jump out of here. And tomorrow, see you guys tomorrow. And peace out. You know I got to play the Inverted Gear video, though. Come on. Go check them out, guys. See ya.